My grandmother used to tell us that when we heard someone calling our name while we were home alone, we should never turn around, as we might see something behind us that we wouldn't want to see. For many years, she used to remind us of this from time to time, but we thought it was just a story to scare us when we were children, as we were so attached to her, all the grandchildren. Everything went on normally over the years. We grew up, and everything was just like grandmother with her stories. On one occasion, when I got home from work, I went to see her in her room as she did every night, to greet, deal with, and take her medicine. While she did so, she used to sit me next to her to talk and watch TV. The conversation continued as usual. At one point I asked, "Mom, TT, was that what we called my grandmother? Do you remember scaring us when we were little, saying that we should never turn around when someone calls us instantly?" Her face became serious and even a little worried, replying, "Why do you say that? Did you hear someone calling you?" Noticing the concern on my grandmother's face, I said no, that it was just a very present memory from my childhood. But from her response and the way her face turned dark, I knew there was something behind it. Those warnings she gave us when we were little. She continued, "So many years have passed and I still remember it as if it were yesterday." This is what she told me. My grandmother says that when she arrived in the neighborhood where we currently live, it was very different. To give you an idea, my grandmother was 100 years old at the time. She was born in 1920 and arrived in the neighborhood in 1935, when his parents bought the land. At that time, there were no electrical wires everywhere, and the way to light was with candles or alcohol lamps. We survived as best we could and lived day to day. At that time, the house we lived in was still a farm, the largest in the neighborhood, and even Grandma had 3 siblings, Ernesto, aged 12, Elma, aged 8, and Elva, aged 5, with her Esther being the oldest, 15 years old. One day, my grandmother's parents needed to travel to do business away from the farm, so my grandmother, being the oldest, was in charge. "We'll be back tomorrow afternoon. Remember to take care of your brothers and don't go out to the farm at night. Everyone must stay at home." The rest of the day went by normally. All chores were done as expected, and when the sun went down, my grandmother took her siblings indoors, prepared dinner, and then went to bed. Everyone slept in the same room on 2 beds, lit only by a few small candles. Slowly they began to sleep without imagining what was about to happen that night. My grandmother doesn't remember the exact time, but she remembers being completely in the dark as the candles had burned out. She got up from the bed to light other candles, and as she did so, a very watery female voice, coming from the corridor, he called her name, "Stir, come." Scared, my grandmother remained silent while in her mind she thought, have Mom and Dad returned yet? But she knew it was impossible, and she clung to the slightest hope of finding an explanation for that voice calling her from the hallway.